Joe Phantomaniacs, welcome to the newest unboxing here on the Needless Things YouTube channel. Today we are looking at Lowlight from the current series of G.I. Joe classified figures, and hopefully Lowlight got executed a little bit better than Firefly. If you did not watch my Firefly review, go check it out. It's one of the more disappointing figures I think I've ever reviewed. Let's hope Lowlight does a little bit better. So, Lowlight, great box, all the stuff. I just reviewed that Firefly, so I'm still like a little bummed out over it because it's my favorite character. So I've got to drum some enthusiasm back up for doing this Lowlight review because these are my two reviews of the week. These actually both just arrived from Big Bad Toy Store. For my preview image on the Needless Things Instagram, I actually had to sort of mock up preview shots from the photography because I did not have these yet, but I knew I was going to be reviewing them this week. They just arrived today. Along with Range Viper, Big Ben, Crimson Viper, and Grunt, which I will be reviewing next week, right here on the Needless Things YouTube channel. So Lowlight, I always dug Lowlight. I'm not going to call him a favorite because I think I say like 3 out of every 5 Joes are my favorite because I love G.I. Joe. But I always did really dig Lowlight. He just looks cool. I'll be comparing this Lowlight to this Lowlight, and I will explain this situation once we get over here. Well, I'll say it right now, whatever. So I'm so afraid of breaking his thumb off by trying to have him hold this that I've just got him kind of cradling it. And yes, I'm missing the bipod and whatever. If I find one, cool. If I don't, I don't care. My philosophy with vintage Joes is I want them to be in the condition. Well, one, if there's a part they have that I don't even remember, then I don't worry about it too much. But also, I want them in good shape, but I'm also realistic as like, what would mine look like now if I still had them? So anyway, we'll take another look at him once we get this guy out. I've already said it a couple of times. I don't like the plastic tabs on here. I liked the twine. The twine worked for me. I do, however, like the grayscale art. And Lowlight is looking cool. Let's get all these tabs out of the way here. See, it's so much easier to untwist the twine and then throw away one single piece of twine. Okay, well already we're in better shape than Firefly because Lowlight's torso is not jiggly like a bowl of jelly. I've got a nice solid torso. Yes, we have already discussed Audible Interlude, a G.I. Joe podcast. We discussed the split buckle in the design there. It seems like it could have been easily avoided. It's not breaking my heart, but at the same time, why would you do that? Why wouldn't you just put it here or put it here? Put the edge of his little flap here right up against the, well, okay, first of all, I want to say, if it were up to me, I would get rid of the abdominal joints entirely and just have a really good ball joint at the waist. I don't like these joints. They just don't look good no matter what. I don't like any joints here. I don't think it's necessary. Anyway, why not just scoot this over so it lines up with that and sculpt that buckle over there? Like, and I don't get it. It would infuriate me as a designer to have that on my work. But I'm not a designer, so maybe that's why. Man, he looks really good. He feels really good. I'm so relieved that he feels sturdier than Firefly. And it also makes me want to kind of order another Firefly and take a shot at maybe getting one that isn't Woody from Toy Story. To borrow a turn of phrase from the Major Wrestling Figure podcast, yikes! Have I just never noticed this before? It's possible. Okay, no. Snow Job does not look like that. Firefly does not look like... What is going on? This is brutal. What is happening with these figures, you guys? All right, hang on. I'm going to have to stop this. Go look at my classified figures and see if any of the rest of them have this hideous holes in the top of the shoulders. All right. Okay, I just went and looked at my collection, and no other classified figure has anything even remotely similar to these cavernous pits in the top of Lowlight's shoulders. These are horrible. What? What? What is happening? So I was so relieved because the rest of him, he looks great. I like the fact, now he's got some silver buckles and stuff here, but his zippers, they've actually painted in like a muted color, so he doesn't have like bright, shiny zippers, which would make no sense on a night sniper guy. Everything's tight here. The portrait is fantastic. The bags under his eyes are a little more subtle than they looked in some of the pictures that we've seen, but they're definitely noticeable. The red, his colors are great. Although, I'm noticing the same thing on him that I saw on Firefly, that his pants, and again, he's another guy that I feel like these are coveralls, but his bottom half is a different color from his top half. Man, we got some problems with this wave. And I don't feel like I'm being picky because you guys, unless you're new here, you know me, I'm not really picky. Now, his elbows match his arms and his knees match his legs, so that's important. Gosh. And again, design-wise, he looks great. But this is just completely unacceptable to me. And I don't love the variance in color and really even the quality of the plastic. His lower legs maybe aren't as bad, oddly. So is this like a... I don't know. Everything else looks so good, though. I love the textures on his coveralls. The belt looks fantastic. He's got the lemon grenades, the pouch right up here. Like, everything about him. I like the way that they did his collar here, which is kind of an enhancement of the original. He got the little pouch on his chest. They've done a great job of updating this classic design. This is, design-wise, this is what classified should be. Man, so everything the figure whoa, a little flip there. The figure feels good. We're in good shape as far as the quality of the plastic and the way everything moves. We're good there. These are unbelievable. And they're not adding any more range or anything than any other classified figure has. It just looks hideous. I'm not even going to bother messing with those knees. We all know that lower knee joint is always snug. It is what it is. Everything else feels fine. Okay, let's take a look at the accessories so I can end this evening of disappointment. I came home from work so excited to open up a couple of great G.I. Joe classified figures, and to an extent, they are both busts. What a night. I'm glad I had a pretty decent day at work, because this would have just been too much to take. All right, flatten that bag out, got everything out of it. So, ooh, I do like the color of his, it's almost like a, it's not bluish gray, but it's a unique, interesting looking color. I like it. Oh wow, that just flew right out of there. Oh, everything's already in there. Isn't that cool? I guess I should have known that when his rifle wasn't apparent from the start. But I do like that they went ahead and just packed that in there. Everything fits, as you can see, nice and securely. Well, let's do, look at that. Friction keeps everything in place quite nicely. I don't love that they used this rather than making an actual hinge, and I understand that this needed to be tooled as one piece, but you can see there are already stress marks in there, although at least they did design it with 2 folds, so it's fine. This is not gonna break on you. Gosh, look at that. You can see the zipper sculpted in there. On the one hand, I want to say a little paint on this would have been nice, but on the other hand, I don't think there would be color on this bag. So, yeah, that's fine. So, let's put this Night Blaster together. That's right, I said it. So everything's got little scoops at the end. So even if you've got big clumsy fingers like me, you can get it all out of there. So that's everything out. You can see how tightly designed that is. Let's assemble this thing. This is cool. All right, get in there. Be super, super careful doing what I'm doing, because this little nub here, I could definitely see just sort of popping off. Oh, interesting that they designed this as a clip rather than just something that this... it seems pretty sturdy. Okay. I was just thinking it would have been better if this had a little fork with the 2 like balls that popped into place, rather than being a clip that could potentially be stressed, but it seems pretty sturdy, so I'm not going to worry about it. Nice looking piece. Let's see if I can get the suppressor, the big giant suppressor. Very cool. Man, that doesn't want to go in there. I'm very nervous. Ooh. Ooh, man. I don't think that's going to go in there. So there's the hole we're dealing with. You can see how this is supposed to operate. I mean, obviously I can heat it up, but my gosh, I don't feel like I should have to. Oh, man, you have got to get just the right angle on that thing. Be very, very careful when you're putting this in place. The gun's rubbery, which is too bad, but it's not like goofy rubbery. How about it's flexible, but it is... You know, it was in this, so it kept its shape. Looks good. Looks really good. I wish it was a more rigid plastic, but these are the times we live in. The question is going to be, can he get into any kind of prone position to fire this? And the answer is probably going to be no. Let's look at the rest of the stuff before we find that out. He's got a nice looking backpack, which is... nothing like his original, like shape-wise, they kind of kept the form factor. but really doesn't have any of the features of his original backpack. Slightly disappointing, but also kind of, not that worried about it. Oof. Looks like I need to dust. When do I ever not need to dust? Okay. So the backpack pegs into the back, hopefully well. Oh, what was that noise? That was scary. Did you guys hear that? I think it was just... No, I don't know what that was. Well, it's plugged in there. Nothing seems to have broken, so that's good news. Alright, so yeah, that goes in there. And unfortunately, unlike Firefly's backpack, this is not contoured to his back at all, so it just kind of sticks out and hangs there. They do... I think have multiple designers working on this line on different parts of the figures maybe. There needs to be a little more oversight with some of this stuff, I feel like. Okay. So we've got his super cool goggles that I guess you just stretch way out and put over that, because he, as much as I like what they've done with his eyes, Lowlight is a guy who wears his goggles all the time. That is the look, and it looks great. Good job. The red is nice and bright, looks good. I'll try and push him up a little bit and get rid of that open space between the goggles and his beanie. Oh, you kind of can't. I don't know if you guys can see it. Well, yeah, you can see it. There's a gap here that if you push these up any higher, well, they're still over his eyes. That's okay. I might be getting really nitpicky at this point, but that's because once I've found something that's not to my satisfaction, it's all downhill from there. The shoulders broke the seal of my generosity, I guess. Okay, so he's got a really cool sheath on his thigh that doesn't want to stay in place, but that's just the nature of these things. I love these rivets on here. This looks really cool. And he's got a knife with paint on it. Looks good. They could have gone with all black on him, and I would have been okay with that, just like with Firefly. But there it is. Fits right in. Looks good. He has got a smaller sidearm that is very cool and unique. I'm trying to figure out which way it goes in. Let's see here. Man, this thing is wild. Tell me in the comments, what is this? Is this a real thing? Because it looks really cool. I dig it. So the original figure, of course, it fits perfectly into his hand, as these all do. The original figure came with an Uzi in addition to his Night Blaster. I'm just going to keep saying it. And I've got to say, when I was a kid, Uzis were the coolest thing ever, but this thing is pretty awesome. I really dig this, even if it's a made-up Nerf gun or whatever, I don't care. Oh, and look, it's got a port. I think we've got to put an appropriate blast effect in that thing. This one looks good to me. Look at that. Pretty awesome. Okay, and then finally he has got his cell phone or whatever piece of equipment. It's got a fan on it. Oh, that's right. It's a wind measuring unit. They could have thrown some paint on that. If you're going to give me something as cool but unexciting as a wind gauge. Put a little paint on it, Hasbro. But cool piece, I dig it, and that goes right in that thigh storage right there, perfectly. Gosh, everything else would be and his so this, is that right? Oh, I thought that could store off to the side, so he can carry this. Or are we going to double up backpack? And that seems a little excessive. Surely that's not what we're meant to be doing. Maybe, because what else is that hole for? But it does work. That seems like a lot. Tell me in the comments, is that a reasonable setup? It does not seem so to me. But, you know, the modern military is tough and ready to haul around strangely configured items like that. Okay, so now we got to do the final bit here and try to get him in some kind of sniping position, which I'm sure is going to be impossible because Classified Series removed the handy hinge that was in the necks of the figures when this line started, and I'm still sore about it. All right. Let's get that lined up. Yeah, boy, a neck hinge sure would be handy right now. But I think we're probably going to be able to fake it out. Kind of. People with more demanding... yeah, it's not really... People who are more demanding than me. Well, okay, wait. Do a little turn here. Bring that elbow in here. And with a little work, I think you could get it looking pretty decent. It's pretty close. Figure photographers are probably going to be able to sort of fake it out. His wrists do move. Well, that one moves. See, it would almost be better in this instance if his right hand, although who says he's right-handed? So his right hand moves that way, and his left hand moves that way. And I don't know that... Oop. With a lot of effort, I think you could get this relatively lined up. And certainly, if you're doing figure photography, you can probably fake this out pretty decently. So it's better than I expected, but not as good as it would be if he had that neck hinge. But anyway, yeah, design-wise, Lowlight is very cool. The shoulders are an abomination. But everything else, pretty good. The goggles, I scooted them up just a little bit. There's no gap between the beanie and the goggles anymore, and they look fine. They're sitting like a little high, but you can't tell. It's okay. So yeah, design-wise, Lowlight is great. I'm happy that his web gear is not a separate piece. I like the way they did the top portion of his coveralls, aside from that split buckle. I really, really like the way they did the figure. Those shoulders are just monstrous. So other than that, cool. Good Lowlight. Wow, that butterfly joint's really wild there. So anyway, thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, share. I'm left just speechless by the experience of reviewing these two figures. What a night. Like, subscribe, share. Tell your friends about Needless Things. Lots of G.I. Joe reviews, lots of other toy reviews all the time happening here. Check out Audible Interlude, a G.I. Joe podcast, every other Monday here on the channel. And thanks for watching. Until next time, yo, Joe.
Smash that like button if you like Needless Things.